Avengers Endgame released in 2019 and is directed by the Russo brothers, who have directed, like, the best stuff from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this movie is starring... Let me see if I can do this. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd, Brie Larson, Bradley Cooper, Gwyneth Paltrow, Karen Gillan, Don Cheadle, Benedict Wong, and a bunch of other fun little cameos. I think I got them all. That was pretty good. Avengers Endgame is the sequel to Avengers Infinity War, where at the end of that movie, half of all life has been extinguished at the hand of the mighty Titan Thanos. However, the remaining Avengers are seeking out Thanos to try to make him bring everyone back. And fair warning for everyone, I am going to talk about spoilers. I'm not going to try to talk about too many if you haven't seen this movie, which really, who hasn't, because it's the highest grossing movie of all time. Everyone in the world has seen it. So you've been warned. First off, why are you watching this if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame? Watch the movie first, then come watch the review. But that plot synopsis, that is all we got in the trailers leading up to this movie. All we understood was that all the remaining Avengers are really suffering the loss from everyone dying in Avengers Infinity War. And they are going to try to find Thanos and make him bring everyone back by using the Infinity Stones. Plus, Nebula and Tony Stark are trying to make their way back to Earth, and they may not make it back in time. That is the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, so I'm going to first start off by saying Marvel Studios did an amazing job with keeping the major plot of this movie a secret. Of course, there were several fan theories out there, from the release of Infinity War to what we were going to get with Endgame. Heck, even the subtitle of Avengers Endgame was a big secret up until a couple of months before the release. And I remember thinking, Avengers Endgame, huh? Okay. Little bit of a letdown. Annihilation, Infinity War Part 2, Infinity Gauntlet, all of these, and then we get Endgame. But don't let the subtitle fool you, because this movie is major fan service, is when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it. And a lot of times the term fan service is thrown out very negatively. But when you have a franchise that's 11 years old and you have all of these beloved characters that for some of them, you're trying to wrap up in a nice little bow, yeah, why not do fan service? Why not show people the ending that they want to see for these characters? And this is really good fan service. Like, they do a good job. You can tell the Russo brothers have so much love. Heck, even Kevin Feige, who is the godfather of this entire franchise, they have so much love for the source material, and they have so much love for these characters that you know that they are going to do it right. And they do it right on screen. Unlike how the final season of Game of Thrones that came out around the time that this movie came out, how that was trying to do fan service. Like when they had the Hound versus the Mountain. That's the fight that everyone wants to see, right? The way you got to it. And it fucked everything up, huh? So many different fan theories out there that was so much better than the end result that we got. Not so with Avengers. Because whenever you can tell that everyone working on the film, the directors, the producers, the screenwriters, the actors, when you can tell that everyone is having a great time, first of all, and they're pouring so much love into it, you can read it on screen with every single scene and every interaction that you see. This movie is fantastic. It hit every single note that I wanted them to hit. And this is kind of where the spoilers come in. First off, I'm going to say that my favorite performance out of this entire movie, surprisingly, was Chris Hemsworth as Thor, or as Bro Thor, as we're calling him now. What a fun, interesting take on a character that we have seen several times throughout the MCU. We started seeing a different type of interpretation with Thor Ragnarok. Everyone's realizing, oh, Chris Hemsworth is a hilarious dude. Let's capitalize on that. But where they take his character, because he could have ended everything with Infinity War, could have prevented all of the mass genocide, the mass deaths that the entire universe had, if only he went for the head. To have that guilt on your shoulders, to have that regret in your mind, of course it would cause some kind of PTSD, depression, anxiety. You stop taking care of yourself. You start developing a beer belly like some people I know of. And when I first saw it in the theater, I go, okay, yeah, they're probably going to trim him up when he gets to the end and he gets his powers back and he gets his hammer back. No! They keep him Bro Thor throughout the entire thing. And I think that is an amazing brave, and very logical choice to make. And I love how Chris Hemsworth plays it in this movie. And I hope they continue it down the road with Thor 4. Robert Downey Jr., this is one of his best performances of Tony Stark in any of the MCU movies that he's in. The scene when he comes back and you can tell that he hasn't eaten in several days, he's so thin, and he's completely losing it. Apparently a lot of it was improvised. And again, you can tell the history that he's had with Tony Stark, the love that he has for the character, and the drive that character has had to protect the world, to put a suit of armor around the world, but yet no one wanted to listen. And look what happened. Chris Hemsworth as Captain America is fantastic. We'll get to a couple of his moments here in a second. But Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I've always loved Hawkeye. I've been a big supporter of Hawkeye since the first Avengers movie. He shoots arrows. What the heck is he doing there? He means nothing. Kill him off. But in Endgame, he shines. The entire movie kicks off with him, actually. And slowly all of his family just starts picking off one by one. Of course, that's how we're supposed to start this thing. And to see the path of rage that he goes on with his new persona of Ronin. It's fantastic. All of these choices make sense. That's why this fan service is working throughout this entire movie. And Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, she has a wonderful moment at the start of this movie where she says, before this job, she had nothing. And she wants to keep this family together, and she is so thankful to have this family. Of course, in the script, she's talking about the family of the Avengers and how she wants to keep it going. She doesn't want them to fall apart. But you can tell that this is Scarlett Johansson in real life saying, I didn't have anything before joining Iron Man 2, before joining the MCU. So the tears that you see that come out, it's character-driven, of course, but you also see that these are real tears from the actress. Just more fan service, and I love it. And that brings me actually to the big plot point of this entire movie. So, we know that the Avengers want to go after Thanos. They actually catch up with him in the first 15-20 minutes, and they take him out, and then the screen goes black, and we get 5 years later. Wow. I didn't see that coming. I thought this movie was going to hop in right after Infinity War, take care of things, and everyone's going to be happy. We're going to have a happy ending. No, these people are dead for 5 years, and there is no undoing that. This happened. I love that choice. I absolutely love that choice. That kind of sets the timeline in a nice new direction for us. We're not questioning as to, okay, what's the order of the MCU movies that I need to watch? Where are we at chronologically? Are we in real time? Are we in the past still? Are we in the future? Where are we at? We for sure know, hey, now we are in the future. Let's relax, everyone. And after we see that it's 5 years later, this movie, the pacing, it's a little slow going at first. Because if Infinity War taught us one thing, is that these characters, these people, don't know how to lose because they always win. And that's what the first third of this movie is doing. We are seeing our heroes that have survived. We are seeing them learn how to cope with a loss, a massive loss at that. How powerful is that to see characters like Thor, like Iron Man, like big smashing Hulk go through a period of mourning and depression and PTSD? It makes these characters more relatable. We as humans, as regular day human beings, are able to relate to these superheroes more. Again, a freaking brilliant choice. But then Paul Rudd comes in and he always zaps in just enough energy to really get things going in any movie in the MCU that he is in. 5 years later, he has a beautiful moment with his daughter. That got me going in the theater. And that brings us into the time heist part of the movie. And we get the whole concept of their definition of what time travel is and what their rules are. And I'm going along with it. A lot of nice little cameos and moments that are in here. Again, fan service to everyone. And then to the final battle scene where, spoiler alert, everyone comes back. And the CGI, the way everyone comes back, the music that is played. By the way, Alan Silvestri's score, I can't stop listening to. The song entitled Portals, which is when everyone starts coming back. You see all the portals start opening, you hear the drums beating, and all of a sudden you start hearing the Avengers theme playing. That brings chills to my skin. It is amazing to watch. The way that it is blocked, the way that the CGI is painted on in the background and in the foreground, it looks like a double panel comic book just come to life. Seriously, I can't stop watching that portal scene. Like, whenever I get a chance, if I'm feeling down and I want to, feel, fist pumping and want to feel good, I turn that on and I can't stop watching it. Freaking amazing! That's where we get our great Captain America moments. He picks up Mjolnir, which we kind of knew he could do in Avengers Age of Ultron, but we didn't see it. When that hammer lifts and you see it go back into his hand, everyone in my theater went, yeah! I don't get the big rowdy people, but that's just a moment you can't help but go, fuck! Yes! Take out Thanos! We get the beautiful ending of Tony Stark, which really, that's how it should have gone down. That's really the only end that character would have in this instance, in this universe. It's so fitting. Again, fan service. But the ending that I've wanted since 2011, since seeing Captain America, the First Avenger, they gave it to me. I wanted that dance, and I got it. We're at the pond, we have Sam, we have Steve Rogers there, and then the scene kind of slowly fades into the 1950s, I'm guessing, and we hear the music playing. I start tearing up. I start patting my wife on the leg. I'm like, they're gonna fucking do it. They're giving me the ending I want. And she's looking at me. And then they reveal it. Oh my god. I love it. I love that ending. I wanted it. I've been calling for it. I called it years ago. I called it back in April when that trailer was released. In March when that trailer was released. I called it we were going to get it, and guys, in the end, Avengers Endgame, it is fan service, and that's not a negative term on this film at all. When you have a franchise like this that's coming to, kind of an end, of course it's going to continue, but a lot of these characters, their time did end with this movie. So to have that, you needed to give them fan service, because we have so much love for these characters, these creators have so much love for the characters, that there was going to be a big revolt if we didn't get the things that we wanted. It is a must-see. Of course, there is a caveat that you gotta watch a couple of MCU movies to see this one. So if you're not big on the whole Marvel franchise, if you're not caught up to date, if you don't know what's happening, you're gonna be lost. But it's still a fantastic exploration of heroes that have always been on the winning side of everything, learning of how to deal with loss and how to deal with grief and sorrow and depression and how to kind of take the bull by the horns with that. How do you move on in life after a tragedy in your life? And I think that's a very powerful message that all of us can relate to. And if we don't relate to it yet, we will eventually. We are going to lose people that we love, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's a pet. We're all going to go through that point. So to have characters that are big, epic superheroes like this deal with that, I think it's beautiful. I'm going to give Avengers Endgame 5 out of 5 Blu-rays. All right, let's in my Marvel Cinematic Universe ranking, I'm putting this in number 2. I think it's slightly better than Infinity War, just because of the fan service. I still love Winter Soldier, though. That movie is perfect in my book. Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos, where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, so let's take a look. Okay. I swear, I'm not doing this, but this is perfect. Iron Man 2 is what popped up. Speaking of the MCU, let's go back to, the worst one of the bunch, Iron Man 2. I've been throwing shade at this movie through some of my reviews, especially when it comes to action movies, when it comes to Marvel movies. I've thrown shade at this. Now it's nice to actually talk about it. So we'll check out Iron Man 2 next time, and hopefully I won't bash it too much, but if any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. So everyone, have you seen Avengers Endgame? Have you been a part of the big, massive, global phenomenon that is Avengers Endgame? If you have, tell me what you thought about the movie. And if you like this review, if you like my take on movies, then hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. We are really close to hitting our goal of 627 subscribers by the end of 2019. So if you have friends, if you have family members that like hearing people talk about movies, send them over my way. Caleb Watches Movies. Have them hit that subscribe button. And if you want me to torture myself, if we hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel, I am promising everyone that I will record myself watching Arachnophobia, which I never want to do because it's freaking scary. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And I'm going to have to get really, really super drunk. And it's going to be entertaining for you. So everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Iron Man 2. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.